For a lot of runners, a good foam roller is a relatively invaluable tool in the old toolbox in order to help keep the body healthy, keep the muscles feeling good, and keep us out there getting our miles on a consistent basis. Assuming, of course, you actually use your foam roller, which is something that I don't always do. When it comes to your foam roller, if all you're doing is kind of standard rolling the length of your muscles, that's great. There's benefits to that. But in today's video, we're going to look at some ways to enhance your foam rolling experience. Though consider yourself warned, the following techniques are not exactly the most pleasant. Just so we're on the same page here, when it comes to typical foam rolling, I'm talking about using the foam roller to roll the entire length of your muscle. Most commonly, you're gonna do this with your quads, your hamstrings, and or your calves. And now, to be clear, I'm not saying that this typical foam rolling routine is in any way a bad thing. In fact, it's a good thing. There's lots of benefits of foam rolling in terms of just how you feel, recovery, etc. A couple of the big ones that it increases blood flow, which certainly helps speed up recovery. Also helps to break up some of the adhesions that form within our muscle tissues. It just kind of helps to loosen up the tissue, which is especially beneficial after a hard workout or a race. So keep on keeping on with the quote unquote typical method of foam rolling. When you're doing the typical rolling and you come across a real tender area, probably a little bit of a knot, a little bit of a spasm in your muscle, that's where these next level techniques come to play. Consider yourself warned, these are not super pleasant, but they are more effective at breaking up some of those bigger knots, those more serious adhesions in the tissue, and get your muscles back to full function. Now, just between you and me, I don't know that any of these next level techniques have any actual formal names. I've got a few names for them, so we'll go with it, but you know, if you have a different name for them, that's okay. The first next level foam rolling technique that I want to take a look at, I call focus rolling. And this is very similar to your typical rolling motion where you're going kind of lengthwise of the muscle. We're just going to focus in on that one spot, that knot, that most tender area, and just rock back and forth on that spot. So you can do this on any muscle group, anywhere that you find that real tender spot. You just kind of focus a little extra attention there, rocking back and forth, maybe put a piece of leather between your teeth if necessary, hang out there for a minute or two, and then move on maybe to the next spot that you want to focus on. Another next level foam rolling technique that works great on breaking up a single knot or adhesion in the tissue, I call it rotational pressure, which is very similar to the focus rolling, but instead of rolling back and forth across the knot on the roller, we're gonna rotate the limb or rotate the area that you're rolling sideways on the roller. In essence, this becomes something of a cross friction massage technique. And let me just tell you, this is not exactly pleasant, but it does do a great job of helping to break up the tissue. Last but not least, when it comes to next level techniques to kind of work out a knot or a good adhesion in your tissue is a contract relax pattern. And really, just like all of them, the contract relax is exactly what it sounds like. You get that knot right on the top of your foam roller, and then you contract the muscle, hold it for a second or two, and relax for a second or two. Contract, relax, contract, relax. And even though the foam roller is not moving, because you're contracting and relaxing the muscle that is on the foam roller, you're still getting some of that movement. You're getting muscle pumping, which can work in tandem with the pressure of the foam roller to really help to break up the knot that you're working on. And again, with all of these next level techniques, it's not pleasant, especially because you're focusing all of your attention right on a real tender spot, which those knots tend to be. But each of these tactics really are effective ways to break up the knot. And really, you don't even need to stack 2 or 3 of these techniques on top of each other. Play with them, find out what is most comfortable for you, what seems to work best for you, and what you might find is that for some areas, certain techniques work better than the others, but I'll leave you to figure out what works best for you on your own. Now, in addition to some of these next level techniques for foam rolling, a couple other things that I think the foam roller can really be beneficial for us as runners that maybe aren't as well known or aren't as often talked about is to really use the edge of the foam roller for some certain areas of the body where digging in a little bit deeper is beneficial. Specifically talking about the hip flexors and the glutes. So if you lay your foam roller down and position the edge of the foam roller right over your hip crease, right over your hip flexor muscles, it's a great way to dig in a little bit more. And if you're not convinced that there's a difference, just try it on, go ahead and try it on the flat part of the foam roller, and you might feel a little bit, but then if you shift it over and really get into the edge of the foam roller, no doubt you're gonna notice that that's just a little bit more intense, and because of the amount of surface area that you're using, right? Like the edge of the foam roller, less surface area, more pressure, digs in deeper, and it's the same theory when applied to using your glutes. If you've got some tight hips, got some tight glutes, and you're not quite sure that the foam roller is really getting there, maybe shift your body over so that you're positioned right over the edge of the foam roller, and you might be hating me for this suggestion, but you might find that it's more beneficial. And maybe the most under the radar foam rolling tip for us as runners, and it's especially maybe only effective if you have one of the longer rollers. Mine's a 3-footer, but it's to lay down on your back with the foam roller running kind of basically right along your spine, and use that as a way to really open up your chest, open up your upper body, let your shoulders fall back, let gravity do the work. Obviously in this day and age that you live in with laptops and tablets and phones and devices, we spend way too much time hunched over, even us runners, even absolutely myself, guilty. And just laying on the foam roller for a few minutes to open up the chest, to pull the shoulders back can be great for our posture in daily life, and also can help us avoid being hunched over when we're running. So that's just another option. If you've got one of the shorter foam rollers, maybe just 12 or 18 inches, it may or may not be as comfortable as when you can lay it from all the way from head to tail basically, and lay your whole body on top of it, but maybe something to try and see if that works for you. So there you have it, some different ways to use your foam roller besides the standard get on it and just roll the length of your muscles, though that is definitely still a very effective method. Ultimately, it comes down to actually using your foam roller. If you have one, use it. It's not gonna hurt you, though it might be a little bit uncomfortable, and it might just help you stay healthy and keep getting after it, chasing your goals, whatever they may be.